Have you ever watched a movie and wished you could be part of one? I know I have. In fact, how many of you out there have thought, movies today are crap. I could make a better movie than this.
And maybe you could, but remember, that's what Harold Warren thought before he was locked out of the theater.
Shaquille O'Neal thought he could step out of his day job and make a good movie, but as it turns out he couldn't do it either. It turns out that being famous and opinionated doesn't replace years of study and training.
Every once in a while, however, it's a great idea. Sometimes you get an individual or group who really do have something special to share, and the connections and know-how to make a good movie.
Midnight Syndicate! Woo! Yeah, as it turns out, I have some history with today's project. Midnight Syndicate is an ensemble of musicians composed of Edward Douglas and Gavin Gosga. Since debuting in 1997, they have released at least 13 records. The group has remained intrinsically tied to the horror genre, creating lilting gothic soundtracks to movies that don't exist. Verily, they do it masterfully. So masterfully that many of the albums will tell you a story without any words or images. Imagine then my elation to discover that they had transitioned from scoring imaginary movies to doing real ones. The prospect of hearing one of my favorite bands behind the film was enough to send me scrambling to see Robert Kurtzman's The Rage. Now follow me a little further down the rabbit hole and try to picture what it was like when I found out that the Midnight Syndicate were making a picture of their own. I followed a movie through its production, I read development notes and blogs, and I chomped at the bit until it was available. At this point, buying and watching the movie wasn't enough. Now I'm left with stalking Ed and Gavin at conventions and waiting in line until I can meet the cast. My DVD case is of course riddled with signatures. I'm not willing to call myself the biggest fan they have, but if you've been paying attention to the series, you might have noticed that I'm a bit of a follower.
But is it any good? I'm sure if we were to ask Fox, the answer would be a resounding yes. But this isn't Game Informer. We don't ask the choir if the scripture is sacred.
We don't take the fanboys at their word. We're going to need some consensus on this one to judge it, because this is film-inflicted trauma, and this is the dead matter.
Our story begins in some place or another Germany. Wasting no time, we are thrust into the army of the marching dead.
So it's to be a zombie movie? That's cool, I guess. Except that they're being controlled by a vampire. Yeah! That's right, Necro motherfucking Mancer Nosferatus.
Our heroes are a pair of adventurers of some kind or another. I don't know if they're specifically vampire hunters or if they're more of a kind of Van Helsing all-purpose monster hunter. Whoa, wait a minute. That's Andrew Divoff. In a terrible wig. Okay, no one has to ask who that is. Or maybe they do. This is some actual star power here. Andrew has been in some highly recognizable projects such as The Hunt for Red October, Toy Soldiers, Wishmaster, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Graveyard Shift, and if you were listening closely enough, Call of Duty Black Ops.
Not to mention more crime dramas than you can shake a stick at. He's playing a Russian-sounding vampire because he's been typecast as guy with Russian accent. I wonder how that audition process goes.
Hello-ski! I am, how you say, Russian Guyovich.
As we said before, he's up against a pair of nondescript monster hunters and... okay, my turn. That is Jason Carter. I remember him from my days of watching Babylon 5. He played Marcus Cole. I understand that since then he's been in numerous roles, including Demon Under Glass and Dixon Mason, Mystery at Hillyard Manor.
Also, he signs DVD cases with a little stick figure vampire slayer. Isn't that just snuggly wuggly adorable?
I like how those zombies kind of ignore that lady until she makes herself a moving target. My theory is that the dead were commanded to kill the hunters, and he repurposed those two when he got tired of listening to her scream.
She's not even that good at screaming, and that's a problem for a horror movie. Much younger actress, show her how it's done.
The Coltrane opens his box of I Win and forces Vampirovich to flee. With the mystical MacGuffin safely out of the hands of the villain, the dead become noticeably less
Our heroes flee to... what? Ohio? Why Ohio? To find standing stones? Why not England or Rome or, oh, I don't know, fucking Germany?
Well, for whatever reason, they needed to bring the Maltese Scarab to this particular standing stone in this particular Midwestern nowhere state to destroy it.
It's no good, though. Vampirovich has followed them. He uses his Devil Doom evil to kill the gargantuan Viking sidekick. Coltrane escapes, and the Scarab lies hidden and lost to all.
Elsewhere, a group of scientists are celebrating the release of their new product, Lux Null. You can wonder exactly what it is that makes this relevant, or you can notice that this guy looks a little bit like a less attractive version of Paul Piero.
I'm going to spend the whole rest of this movie perpetually disappointed in this actor for not being Paul Piero. In fact, I think I'll call him not as buff Bayo.
And now the moment we've been waiting for. The scarab is inevitably found by a gaggle of college-age hippies. Well, more appropriately, a couple of hippies and their beleaguered boyfriends.
The hippies decide that they want to do a seance, and the guys oblige them. My favorite part is that guy. He just sits there with a look on his face. A look that perfectly communicates that no sir, he has not had nearly enough beer for this shit.
Well, not enough beer guy? Buckle the fuck up, because magic is actually happening. Nobody's going to be picturing a blue flame tonight, because the woods come alive with creepy purple light.
This, however, alerts not only the hunter, but also Vampirovsky. That I get. What I don't get is why the amulet starts screwing with Punt Kevin Smith's equipment.
I'm sure that we'll get some answers as things progress. The delightfully witchy Gretchen is growing somewhat obsessed with the events in the woods, and I don't blame her, because it was fucking magic.
Comrade Dracula heads to a swank underground vampire club, or a warehouse with floor rugs hanging all over the place. He's investigating a growing problem of drug-addicted vampires, and wishes to confront their ringleader. Oh hi, Tom Savini.
Gretchen begins to have dreams. Scary dreams with chanting children and zombie cleaning ladies. Oh hi, Gavin Gazka.
Her boyfriend has got to be one of the most understanding guys in the world. He's there throughout all of this weird shit, not getting freaked out, and being a pretty cool guy.
That is, until their sexy time is interrupted by Zerindwhite. It's about this time that he seems to be reaching the end of his patience.
I sympathize. You can't really take in every stray dog, homeless cat, and wandering revenant that follows you home.
We're not taking this thing.
He's not a thing.
He's a goddamn zombie.
Whoa, hold on there, guy. We were all set to take your side until you busted out the hate speech. The polite term is differently dead, and I think that their people have been oppressed enough over the years, don't you?
Well, now they have a zombie, and they want to show him off. You know, like you do. They invite their friends out to the bar and introduce them to the Gestapo.
Oh, don't worry about her. This isn't a response to an unnatural presence or the smell of rotting flesh. It's just how she maintains her figure.
Don't let that fool you, though. Jill is really down on this whole necromancy thing. She says it's some bad shit and evil because it is black magic.
Not Paul seems to have the right idea, though. He wants to take the zombie to the goddamn lab and run some tests, being as this is a walking dead body, and thus one of the most important discoveries in the history of science.
Let's not forget about Coltrane. He's still out there and working towards his goals. We're treated to a scene in which he prepares an elaborate magic ritual to find the missing amulet.
Either that, or he's getting his everlasting campaign ready. There's his game map and obligatory ceremonial candles.
The Scooby Gang is still worried about the zombie. Annoying girl and sensible boyfriend want her to get rid of it because, you know, it's a dead body. Not Paul wants to study it in his lab. Any of these ideas would be good advice.
Of course, she doesn't take any of it. Her idea of what to do with her undead manservant is to take it on a playdate.
Yes, she and Viking Bob go out and veritably paint the town dead as she recreates some of her finest memories of time spent with her dead brother.
Oh, did we mention that? It's kind of important. A few years ago, Gretchen was involved in a serious car accident that left her brother dead and her best friend annoying. She wasn't in the car or anything. She was just a hippie.
She suffers from some serious survivor's guilt, and one of her most driving motivations is to contact him for some kind of closure. Hence the whole Wicca shtick.
Now, however, she feels she has the chance to bring him back from the dead, hence putting her pet monster in his place to try to connect them.
It doesn't go over very well. Her attempt to contact her departed brother yields some kind of contact, but it's not what she wanted.
Death is the answer, death is the answer, death is the answer, death is the answer, death is the answer.
Jeez, that is actually really creepy.
Death is the answer, 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 death is the answer.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Worse still, this incident alerts everyone who is looking for the amulet to its general location by one means or another.
It ain't cool, but let's just get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
Coltrane tracks them down and offers his assistance, but it's too late. Our heroine is tampering with forces she doesn't understand, and the other side is reaching out for her.
How, Sean?
It was you. You called me back. It was your love.
Fool you!
It's time for the fight scene. The vampire beats their asses and breaks her toy Viking. Not Paul Piero throws some holy water in his face and he flees from them before they're able to finish him off.
He tries to get help from the low-rent Eddie Fiore we met earlier, but he double-crosses him, gives him a drop of blood and forces him to inject vampire drugs into his system.
It's kind of hard to watch the main villain humbled like this, but it'll all be okay. You see, the Wu Fang clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Vamparski does the cloud thing again, but this time he uses it to give Tom Vampini the worst case of indigestion you've ever seen. Ugh, I can't believe we made that joke.
Bullshit! I call bullshit. There's no way that any GM would let someone get away with that. That is some snapped-in-half, broken-ass bullshit.
Notbeo wanders around being confused as to why his friends are suddenly playing a rousing game of zombies while acting wildly out of character.
Oh, I love that game.
Huh?
Zombies. Screw the scene. That game is awesome.
Yeah, it actually is really fun. Anyway, it's a dream sequence calling back to the zombies revelation in the form of a trivia game. It's apparently a cool game, so let's play.
In what year was Beyond Good and Evil published?
1909.
The answer is death.
You should have known that one, Frank. Don't look behind you.
How many pages are in the Oxford English Dictionary?
Which edition? I mean, it's going to be different based on whether it's hardback, pocket, college edition, or ebook.
The answer is death, Frank.
Oh.
Who, in 1975, designed the formula for evaluating veterinarian practices?
I don't know. Dr. C.D. Howling?
The answer is...
Death, yes, I know.
What is the chemical equation for sodium benzoate?
NaC6H5CO2.
The answer is toast.
Toast?
I meant death. Stop! The answer is death. 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 The answer is death.
The scene ends with a bit of a surprise. As it turns out, Science Buddy isn't even having this dream. It's actually Scarab Girl. The dream is an omen of ill fortune regarding the laboratory, but it's too late. Science Guy is already gone.
At the lab, the equipment starts going apeshit due to some kind of ritual that the space cowboy is performing. He's tried to destroy the amulet, but it has grown too connected to the main lady.
So connected that it has in fact appeared inside of her chest. Well, either it has some mystical connection, or she called it to her by reciting, "Beetle boobs, beetle boobs, beetle boobs."
Whatever weird thing has connected the computers to the amulet causes the blonde lab girl to go apeshit, and they lock her outside. It actually turns out that all the lab ladies are in fact vampires.
Frank tries to kill one with sunlight, but she's apparently grafted lesbian skin to her face because she's immune.
Actually, it turns out that the vampires are running the whole show, and this new miracle diet pill they've been working on is secretly a cure for the Nightwalker's most pressing weakness.
Wait a minute. Luxnol? God damn it. Luxnol? The drug is called Light Make Not. They might as well just named it Plot Devicium.
Frank manages to escape via a Beatles song, but the blonde girl whose name will never take the time to learn kills the punk Kevin Smith in a most gruesome fashion.
I just saw a fucking vampire! It bit me right in the neck! Shit!
Figuring out what happened, the Devil Hunter calls them up and begs them to meet him where the whole sordid mess began, the Standing Stone Circle.
His plan is to put Gretchen into the circle and repeat the ritual, hoping that no one else is enough of a connection to allow the evil artifact to perform another body hop.
She'll be okay, right? She'll be free.
Oh, what? Bullshit, dude. Don't buy that shit. That always means that, yes, she is going to die. That's like falling for the old, I'll sell you this in exchange for your hand. Oh, wait, I meant your hand in marriage shtick.
Well, it's all good, because the vampires show up to wreck their party anyhow, and one of them spills the beans. This influences them to refuse the treatment, and the dead start going to town on everyone involved.
Frank gets his neck broken, and Gretchen apparently only had one hit point left, because Vampirovsky kills her with an accidental jolt of static electricity.
As one might expect, the towering power of the ancient necromantic artifact reanimates and seemingly possesses her.
Here is where we get into some serious Devil Doom evil.
It turns out that if you're a form of animated corpse, fucking with an ultra-powerful necromancer is about the dumbest thing you can put on your agenda. Gretchen takes control of all the vampires and kills them.
Pretty gruesomely. I mean, check out the fate of poor Vampirovich. Gretchen takes cramming religion down a person's throat to a level that Pat Robertson can masturbate to.
At the same time, she has called up the corpses of what appears to be everyone in the tri-state area, See, I told everyone those dead hookers just walked into my basement and collapsed there. This explains everything.
Mike and Hunter wanted to get into the ritual circle to destroy the amulet, but fucking come on. Do you really think she's gonna say yes to giving up phenomenal cosmic power?
They battle her mightily, and might I point out that there's some really thought-out usage of necromancy in this film. Minor details such as controlling the dead cells in a person's hair, or even fingernails. Ouch.
Seriously, that's some Takashi Miike shit right there. Regardless, they managed to get her into the circle long enough for the hippie chick to recite the incantation and destroy the artifact.
I guess she didn't say every single tiny little syllable, but more or less said the words. Mike suffers another ball-clenching dose of ripped-off fucking fingernails before she can get it right.
With that, the amulet is destroyed, the undead go back to being merely dead, the hunter fucks off to whatever it is he does regularly, and our heroes sit there possibly wondering how their lives will ever go back to normal after this mind-shatteringly horrifying experience.
That was the dead matter, and that was fucking awesome.
Agreed. We've done movies on this show that got better than what they deserved, and we've done movies that we weren't nearly fair enough to. But the dead matter?
The cinematography is great, the scripting is solid, the dialogue is decent, and the acting, while not great, is easily passable. I'm not saying I'd nominate it for an Oscar, but it is definitely worth owning without even a touch of irony.
Midnight Syndicate! Woo!
Come on, man, be serious.
The plot has a lot of elements, and they come together more or less with no confusion. There's a lot of great characters that aren't particularly contrived. It's all around a good movie.
It doesn't seem fair to do a movie on here that gets an entirely good review, so here are a few negative traits. The characters don't really react like people.
Also, that Russian vampire's wig is just terrible. I mean, he looks like a bad Sephiroth cosplayer.
Other than that, though, The Dead Matter is an awesome horror film. It has everything you could ask for, and maybe even a little bit more. Pick up a copy and give it a shot.
As he quits his dead and he ain't never coming back. You should have been nicer when he was blazing up the track. No well wishes, just bitches talking trash. Is the aftermath of saying the rap is whack? As he quits his dead on arrival, watch his rivals revel. The jealous relish the moment their opponent wins a level. 6 feet under, what a bummer, it's no wonder the waste. Could have been the contender, no maggots watching his face. And he's often in his coffin, lying down, lost his thought. Groupies gather at the grave, don't throw posies on a plot. Hangers take off in the distance, telescoping with a nod. Smoking basket at the box and get their knickers and knots. They play in the park, in the dark, with his Parker's cliff. Raise it high in the sky and Kratos, it is for Chris. Then the tale of how he really was a pimp. Pants wanted to be on, she's fun to be honest, yeah. Away till the day's end when the moon is high. Little rise with the tide, with the lust for life out. A massive army and we'll harness a horde, and then we'll look across the land until we stand at the shore. Away till day's end when the moon is high, and then I'll rise with the tide, with the lust for life out. A massive army and we'll harness a horde, and then we'll look across the land until we stand at the shore.